Hey guys, I'm back with my 1 month 1 palette video for June and talking about what I'm going to use for the month of July. Okay, for June I decided I was going to use the Stila in the Light palette, which looks like this if you're unfamiliar. Really pretty, just warm, summery, kind of bronzy shades with some pretty good, just basic type colors. And I had been wanting to use this so long when I started my 1 month 1 palette series. I was just really waiting till it got warmer, so I felt like it was more appropriate, I guess you could say. Well, last month I used the Laura Mercier Artist palette and I didn't enjoy that, so I was really looking forward to this. And I have to say, guys, I didn't enjoy it either. Okay, I'm going to tell you why. I didn't film any looks for it this month. I dropped the ball, I'm sorry, but I wasn't really like feeling anything that I wore, so it's not like you're missing out on any specific look. I'll run through the colors briefly and I'll kind of explain why about everything. This is a really great brow bone, you know, everyday kind of color. Here is the infamous Kitten. What I'm going to do is I did have a single pot of Kitten, which I was going to get rid of because I had it in here. But it's the only color in the palette I really loved and I actually did like it, so I'm going to keep Kitten and get rid of this. This was a really good crease color blending out shade. I have no complaints about that. Let me skip over this. These colors are just not colors I go for. This I would never use. I never did use. This I would use for like outer corner, maybe eyeliner. It's not something I really reach for on a daily basis, but it's not something bad. Same thing with this. Maybe eyeliner, maybe outer corner if I was feeling a little daring. I don't really do black. Okay, this color, it was like a decent lid color, but it just wasn't fantastic. This was just a little dark for a lid color, so sometimes I would use it on like the outer half to kind of do like a gradient, say like maybe this on the inner, that on the outer, but it wasn't anything fantastic. Same with this luster, I didn't like that. And the same thing with this. It was okay as a lid shade, but it wasn't that fantastic. So just there was nothing in here that made me that wowed and overwhelmed. And I'll tell you why. I have quite a few MAC eyeshadows, so this is just like a little sample of what I have. Sample. I act like I'm trying to show you something. I'm not. What I'm saying is I have a lot of MAC colors that I love that I feel like are perfect lid colors. This is a perfect lid color. This. I just, you know, MAC Woodwinked, MAC Mulch, MAC Amber Lights, Tempting, Satin Taupe. There's just so many other colors that I love better because they're better qualities and better formulas, and that I already have and I know and I love and I know what combos I like. Now, not to say, oh, once you have those colors you don't need any more makeup. That's not what I'm saying. It's just I felt like this was trying to emulate some of the stuff I use with my MAC eyeshadows, and I just already have stuff like that that I love so much more. Does that make sense? This wasn't a bad palette if you're starting out with makeup, or especially if you're really new to warm eyeshadows and you don't have a lot of those. I think it's a great palette. For the value, it's not bad at all. And a lot of times this is on sale. I know I got this. Stila was doing like a 50% off their website sale, and that's when I picked this up. I've seen it on sale, Sephora's website. Ulta does their daily deals where they had one of these palettes on sale. It's not a bad palette, but I'm going to pass it on. It just didn't wow me. Like I said, I just have MAC colors that if I want to do like the brown, bronzy, warm eye, I already have colors that I just love so much more. Does that make sense? Kitten is really pretty, but I don't need the palette for Kitten, especially since I already have one. Okay, so that kind of tells you what I was doing some for the month. And days that I wasn't using the palette, I was just reaching for my cream eyeshadows. They're just so easy. I'm just going to show you the ones because I felt like they were some of the same color scheme. Not that it has anything to do with it really, but I'm just telling you what I did. I wore my Josie Moran Coconut Watercolor Eyeshadow in Rio de Rose Gold a few days. My MAC Eclair paint pot I wore a few days. I try not to wear it as much because I need to give other stuff some attention. My MAC Rubenesque paint pot, which would be really lovely under the Stila palette. Any of these would go with it. And then 2 of my shadow sticks, the Trish McAvoy in Rose Quartz, which is a really lovely, very light, easy daytime wear. And then my By Terry Ombre Black Star in, what is this? I think this is Bronze Moon. Yes. Which is kind of like that. So I was trying to stick with the same kind of color palette of the palette, but I didn't love it enough to wear it every day. So I feel bad because I did stray, but you know, it is what it is. So anyways, I felt like the next palette I had to do, because we're still in summer, it just seemed like made the most sense to me, was the original Urban Decay Naked palette. And I got this when it first came out, like the very first release. And look at it. It is hardly, I mean, yeah, there is some definite use in it, but not as much as the age of the palette. It is a really pretty palette. I love a lot of these colors. It's not my favorite mix of colors ever, but I love it, and I will never get rid of this palette. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that for nostalgia reasons, for one, because it was like the first palette I ever bought, and it was so hard to get a hold of. I was just stalking Urban Decay when it came out. This is really great for traveling. I've taken it traveling a lot of times in my life because, you know, I wish it had a matte brow bone color, but it doesn't, you know, so it's not the end of the world. You can use Virgin as a cheek highlight. I've used Naked in my eyebrows when I've needed to. It's a little warm, but it works, and I just think there's a lot of colors that are great. Now, Creep and Gunmetal, I'm not probably ever going to use. Hustle, I do use on the outer corners sometimes. And Smog and Dark Horse, you can use kind of the same as that NARS Cordura duo that Makeup by Tiffany D loves, and I ended up purchasing and loving as well. Just haven't given it a lot of love in its life with me. So anyways, that's what I'm going to use for July. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm most excited to just bring it back out and let myself focus on this, because through the years of me having it, there's always just been new stuff and new stuff and new stuff, and I'm just really ready to give this a lot of attention again, you know, because it's an oldie but a goodie. So that is my video. I'm so sorry that I didn't have any like clips of looks that I wore of this, but it just wasn't. I mean, it pretty much boils down to kitten in the lid and this in the crease, or this on the lid, this in the crease, that on the lid, that in the crease. It just wasn't anything special. So I am so sorry, but I'm going to be passing this on. If you have a ton of these kind of colors, I do not think this is a must-have. If you don't have any of these colors, I think it's a great little palette to get your feet wet with the bronzy shades. However, I think this is better. It is probably, I'm pretty positive it's more expensive. Maybe a good bit more expensive. But I would definitely pick this up before the Stila if I was to just pick up one. So, okay, well that is all for this video. I will see you guys later. Oh, okay. I don't remember if I mentioned her last video or not, but one of my viewers has a blog. It is called The Wonky Brow. I'll have it linked down below in the description. I'm pretty sure I had her linked in last month's video, but I don't think I mentioned her. She does this series, but she does it in a blog post. So be sure to check her out, because I read her blog every month when she does it. It is really informative. It's nice to read it. It's basically the same idea of what I'm doing, but just a blog, and she uses something different than what I'm using. So you get a different take each time. I think she's using the Laura Mercier Artist Palette this month. So you might get a different opinion on that. So that is all. I will see you guys later. Bye.